So, whatever happened to all the satanic forums, huh? All the satanic networks, like mine, Satanic International Network, the 600 Club, Go to Mendez, My Satan. Um, shit, I know I'm forgetting a lot of them. Modern Church of Satan, ICOS, and there's more. But, well, they're all gone. What happened to them? Hard to say. A couple things happened. Part of it was social media. Social media came and got big. I mean, social media was always there, but these private networks, some of them, like say the 600 Club, that had been around since the late 90s. So, Sin has been around, still is. It's been around since 2010, 2009. Before that, Go to Mendez was there. My Satan was there. So, social media did kill it, but, well, not completely, but the other thing was that a lot of these private networks, like Sin 2, is built on older software. If you've been around a while, right, you're probably using older software. Sin software is Oxwall, which is built in 2000, late 2000s, right? And, nobody really uses that anymore. So the software kind of expired too. And not a lot of these forms and networks were easy to transport and transform and upgrade, basically, update. So, without having to start over, or without spending a lot of fucking money. So a lot of people threw in the towel. And social media too, and then just the generation gap, like people that were, say, in their teens and 20s 10 years ago, right? And now, in their late 20s and 30s and shit, and, they just kind of like phased out of that, right? And the newer generation, especially with Satanism is kind of a revolving door. People come in and go. People come and go. I mean, I've watched 9 out of 10 people in the last 10 years come and go. 9 out of 10. Will have identified as a Satanist at one time and then go and identify with something else. So it's not a lot of people stick around. So the newer generation that's coming up, who are in their late teens, early 20s, which is generally when people are exposed to Satanism, right around there, they're growing up with different technology. They're growing up with cell phones in their hands, right? Whereas 10 years before that, not so much. So it's kind of like the next wave of people are coming up on this, on Satanism and whatnot, and they're looking at these networks, and these networks to them are archaic. And some of them are. Well, they kind of are. People don't use forums and blogs the way they did 10 years ago. And people expect, everything, to be, well, they're used to it. Which is, if you're younger, if you're in your 20s and you grew up with a cell phone, you expect everything to be phone friendly. You expect, all this and that. You expect, whatever it is, right? And, a lot of these networks just don't have it, and so when you have that, take that into consideration, you have, like, say, like Messenger, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, people can be, like, they can build their own little networks, right? Instead of like a network like, say, Sin, which I have to pay for hosting, and I have to, upgrade and update and maintain, then I have to have admin to help me and stuff like that. People on Facebook, it's already done for you. You basically just make a Facebook group, right? Same with a Reddit. You just make a Reddit group. So everybody can now be their own kind of king, so to speak, or their own, grand poobah. And so, without any work or any money. That's the trick, right? So, it's just it's gotten phased out. Now, my network, Satanic International Network, is probably I think it's the last one left. I think there's a couple others, but they're not doing anything. The only other one that I think actually has any activity might be Letters to the Devil, but Letters to the Devil is mainly a Church of Satan form. So, if you're not really Church of Satan, you're not really welcome there. I've been kicked out of there twice. So, it's, so basically for a private network that's fairly neutral, I think there's only 2 left. 600 closed down, which was the oldest one. They, I think the owner Zier just, software is just too old, taking up a lot of resources, a lot of time, a lot of effort to maintain something that's that old. And, there's a chance that it may get revived again, but I think it's kind of unlikely. I think it's just going to remain extinct. Or buried, or whatever. Yeah, it's just, as far as Satanic International Network goes, I'm going to hold on to that. I'll be holding on to that. That will stay up as long as I'm alive, and even after I die. And my will, it's passed down to somebody else. If that other person isn't there, or doesn't want it, it's passed on to somebody else. So I don't see that changing unless something radically happens, like I find Jesus, and I don't think that's going to happen. So yeah, I mean, that's basically what happened, and just things evolve, times change, and some of these networks don't have the ability to, so you're stuck. But then there's some kind of comfort in that, because there's a lot of information on those, and also, for people who are a little older like myself, who are used to that stuff, it's kind of nostalgic. It's a comfort zone when technology is growing so fast. Everything's on a fucking phone app now. To go back to an old school form like that, is kind of comforting for a lot of people. But a lot of us people aren't going to be around all that much longer. So, it's just that when people start to change and people get older, new things come into play. That's it. But Satanic International Network is probably the last freestanding, independent networking form, that's still around, that has any sort of activity. There you go.